Hello everyone.
Hi.
Today I have the honor to host a panel discussion of KSN Global, Kerala Startup Network Global. I have with me the President Anil Balan, Vice President Advocate Bindu, Vice President Sunil Haridas, Vice President Manoj Gopalakrishnan, Executive Committee Member Vishnu. So, welcome to Decoding the Indian Startup Stories. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Surinder.
So, Anil, I'll start from you. You being the head of KSN Global. Can you elaborate, what is KSN Global? Because it's a Kerala Startup Network Global. Can you just, elaborate and, tell us more? How was it formed? Why was it formed?
First of all, thanks, Surinder, for having me on here and for this panel discussion on KSN Global. So KSN was a concept. It was conceptualized with an event that happened in Kochi under the banner of Kerala Startup Mission, right? So few startup founders attended one of the programs, and one of the young minds created a WhatsApp group. And that WhatsApp group translated, or probably I can say a different word, it grew on leaps and bounds in a very short period of time. And the WhatsApp group became very vibrant and active. So it was like a self-grown initiative, and active participation of the founders were in the WhatsApp group. So we started helping each other on each of the queries, clarifications, or the needs that were presented on the group. And vibrancy in the group was so infectious that everybody got attracted to sharing each other sort of a mindset. So we started having our own sharing sessions. We invited guests to for the sessions, for the workshops. A lot of initiatives were done, and what you're talking about is this pre-COVID period, right? So unfortunately, COVID hit us pretty badly. So two good things happened. One, that we were all confined to our four walls. We were in the house, among our premises, and there was no opportunity for getting out. So that again accelerated this cohesiveness among the startup founders across Kerala, right? So we got a lot of programs done, and activities are happening, and we were like any other WhatsApp group. Phenomenal way of interaction.
Anil, I have a question. Is KSN Global a registered entity?
Absolutely. So, what happened was, as we progressed, we had one or two meets and which saw a phenomenal participation of all the startup founders. And in one of the meets at Kochi, we decided that let's formalize this from an WhatsApp group to an entity. And we started looking at what best could be. Could be a Section 18, or could be a private limited, or LLP, or a society. And we have got entire minds within here. We have got lawyers, we have got chartered accountants, we have got all the expertise within the group. Collectively, we decided that society is the best form for us as we go forward. And we got registered in the month of March.
March, which year?
This year.
March 2022.
Absolutely.
Okay, let me switch on to Advocate Bindu. Anil was saying that it is registered as a society. Why society, and what is the difference? What are the advantages?
Basically, I would say Kerala Startup Mission is registered as a society. That makes things easier to understand, because you can incorporate any vertical under it. If it is a Section 8 company, there is a limitation of verticals. You have to stick on to one particular objective. And if you want to change that objective, you need government permission, and all these complications are there. You are not free to move, and there will be only certain directors to it. So what about the other people who are part of the group? It will be in the hands of a certain collective community who are part of that Section 8 company. Same with trust. There will be trustees, there will be board members. Again, it is got confined. Private limited company, there is no question, because it is a closed room after all. We cannot extend, no one can put in money. It is like a lot of restrictions are there. But coming to a society, it is free to register, less compliances, and it has got a versatile usage possibility. Any society, whatever the bylaw allows, we can do. That is why we chose came to a society. It's not a corporate society. It is actually Travancore Cochin Scientific Literary that society.
Okay.
It's an entirely different act altogether.
Okay. Sunil, now moving on from society, can you explain what are the activities undertaken till now by the KSN Global?
Yeah, as Anil mentioned, this is the kind of self-grown organization of entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. So that way we are very unique. We have got other organizations in Kerala and outside Kerala, which are probably driven by public enterprises, whether it's government or some other organization, which has members, but there is no, I would say, there is no democracy in that organization because it is driven from the top. So our USP is that we are driven from the bottom, and we are driven by people who really see the pain or feel the pain of others. So that way we can contribute better. We have better empathy for our members. We know what are the problems. We also know the solutions. Now, talking about what we have been doing so far, we have had a number of get-togethers where we could build a lot of rapport among the members, especially our early members. Then we had a conclave where we brainstormed. We had a number of engagements with other ecosystem participants. So basically, we did a lot of networking. We built a lot of bridges between these organizations as part of that conclave. And we are also working on a number of knowledge sessions where we, provide or we transfer knowledge. So it is again a great opportunity especially for the people with gray hairs, as you said, who can impart knowledge to the younger entrepreneurs, who can handhold them, who can mentor them, support them and all that. So that is happening as a parallel track. Then, of course, we have been training startups, we have been supporting startups to get into incubators, accelerators, etc., which will actually help them move forward in their journey. So these are few things, and of course, we are also looking at getting some kind of financial, independence, because that is key to our growth. So we are looking at being an incubator later as an accelerator and all that, which would get us more funding, which will help us to help others in our community.
Great. Manoj, moving on to Manoj. When you say Kerala Startup Network Global, there are two parts. One is Kerala Startup Network and then is global. So why this? Is there anything internationally beyond the boundaries? That's the reason why you call it global?
Okay, very good question. See, initially we started as this Kerala because this is all Kerala-based startups, who are mainly part of this group, and that is how we point that. But then our vision, if we look at the vision, everybody thought, yes, we will start here, but then let us not limit to the state alone. Let us be global, because see, this 21st century, it is we cannot be looking at. We are calling it actually global citizens, and as an organization also now we have to look at the boundary. It is boundaries are actually been completely diluted. You can see there are no boundaries right now. Only thing is we are looking at mainly our group consists of people, the startups who are based in Kerala. Okay, that is how the Kerala element is coming in there, and a network. So global is because of the vision what we have. That is why we incorporated global. It was suggested by when we were brainstorming on the name. And this was actually the thing which everybody thought. And we made it KSN Global because because Bindu had mentioned about some legal aspects about when you are trying to register as mentioning Kerala Startup Network. So that is why we made it KSN Global as the official name.
Okay.
Surinder, to add on to it, like what Manoj said, right? So, being a global aspiration, right? If you look at KSN, in our bylaw, what we have specifically outlined is, in terms of different verticals that we would like to bring in KSN to help the startups, we would be looking at raising of funds, supporting in terms of a complete ecosystem, right? All the ancillary stuff, whether it is, availability of platforms or, expertise or consultancies or funding, right? So when you're looking at funding, we don't want to limit the resources of fund to be from locally from within India as well, or we can look at an opportunity abroad. So, the 4 startups by startups, or, like what Sunil said, it's for everybody, any Malayali entrepreneur or, interested personality or a businessman across the globe can be part of KSN Global. That's the sort of largest objective.
Yeah, being, broad-based rather
Absolutely.
than being very
Right.
short.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you.
moving on to Vishnu, our youngest member on the panel, the young entrepreneur. You are into VR. We had a discussion. You are into virtual reality. Looking at AI, IoT, virtual reality, AR, blockchain, how do you think KSN Global can play a role in getting these expertises together or helping industries which are linked to this?
Got it. See, when all of them started talking about these network of people, we have almost 600 people who are all independent entrepreneurs. The major advantage is, say for example, if I have a requirement today, I'll just post it in the WhatsApp group and I'll get it solved in maybe 1 or 2 hours. Any problem, not very specific bigger problems, but any smaller problems get it solved within maybe it takes up to 2 to 4 hours maximum. Right, that is the kind of support which we get from each and every entrepreneur in the group. I'm not specifically talking about anyone, but there are people highly vibrant towards helping people. Just because, say for example, my service, my problem is somebody's service, right, or somebody's product. So we have almost a collective effort. All of them come together and they help us a lot. And when you talk specifically about our technology or something very deep tech, I think in our group alone we have about 7 or 8 companies working on the same domain, right? So it's not specifically focused on anything. It's just specifically focused on one thing, which is entrepreneurship and building a network who can co-help each other. So that I think that is what is driving all of. I think whenever I speak to any entrepreneur, they're very driven towards KSN because usually when we see any institutional incubators or any institutional supports, these are run by people who are settled. At least their job is to run that. Right, but here all of them, Anil sir is running his own business, Manoj sir is running his own business. So all of them run business. They know the pain points. And they easily help us. They don't spend a lot of time in helping us. They can easily connect people with us. They can easily bring in technology. They can easily showcase our products to wonderful people as well. So I think there is a whole criteria of people who are helping us again and again. I think that's been a huge help also. Not only for me but for all of us.
Excellent, very good. Anil.
Yes.
Now, you being at the head of KSN Global, what is your priority in terms of help assisting startups? Do you have a roadmap? Is it any program?
Yes, absolutely. A very good question, Surinder. So, let me start from where Sunil left in terms of the programs that we have conducted, right? So we were fortunate to, after our registration of society, we did our first startup conclave at Kochi, where Honorable Minister P. Rajiv was the chief guest, who came to inaugurate our program. And we had eminent speakers, Mr. Balagopal sir, who is the chairman of Federal Bank. Kochusep Chitlapatli was our guest. We had organization across India who participated. We had Invest India in our program. We had CIA participation. We had KSN. So entire ecosystem from Kerala were part of it. And we also were able to bring across the nation the partners who would be able to help the entire startup ecosystem of Kerala. Right? We had signed agreements with 2 or 3 organizations who are working to handle the startup ecosystem. Right? So that's a vibrancy, that is a type of, strength that KSN Global is trying to build within Kerala. Now, to answer your question in terms of what's our objective, what we have in our roadmap, we have been, like Sunil has been driving to get the partnerships done, whether it is in the form of incubators or in terms of getting partnerships from organizations like Shell, CII, right? All those incubators that have national presence, we are trying to bring them back to Kerala to help the startups of our ecosystem, right? So handholding, mentorship. So we recently did a program with the Arthur School of Entrepreneurship, where, entrepreneurs who have been, so the beauty is we were able to bring in the expertise, not from Kerala, outside of Kerala, to participate for the benefit of our members. When I say our members, it's not just there's no membership fee as such, right? So it's an ecosystem. So we are enabling, whether it is a mentorship, whether it is a knowledge know-how, whether it is a capability building, whether it is financial handholding. We run programs for participating startups for any of the incubators here. Whether it could be IMK Live, whether it could be TBI, whether it could be any programs that KSM does, KSIDC does, KEED or undercomes. So everything. So as soon as we see there's an announcement for any of the programs for the benefit of the startup, we pull together a team, we start working for the startups, help them to make sure they are capable of presenting their proposition in front of this organization, whether it's for pitching, whether it's for competition. We did a hackathon, and I think Vishnu was part of it, right? We did a hackathon, and hackathon was done collaboratively, right? 6 or 7 startups with the latest technology into robotics and AR, VR, they participated together. And I think we reached to at a national level, we reached to at a topmost, probably top 3 category. So that's the sort of a cohesiveness, that's the sort of a benefit that I see from this ecosystem. And we have got a complete roadmap for, so if you look at the composition, the society, the KSN Global comprises of 25 executive committee members, of which we have, office bearers being elected, right? And this continues for a period of 2 years. So we created a complete roadmap for 2 years in terms of what is that we're going to achieve quarter by quarter. We are working. So what we do is we involve the startups when we start thinking of running a program across, could be an industry, could be a location. So very recently, we've been working with Kerala Entrepreneurship Institute, where, imparting financial literacy to the women workforce or entrepreneurs across Kerala. So one of our startup member, who is also an executive member, is part of that particular program. We submitted a proposition to the government, and they said, we will handhold it. We will run the show for you because we have that entire depth and landscape of founders across different regions. You talk about Idiki, we have founders from there. Pathanamthitta, Kottayam, Pala, Thrissur, Palakkad, Coimbatore. I can name the city, our founders are there. That is the beauty of KSN Global.
Good. Sunil, can you expand on Anil? Anil said that you're running various, training programs and verticals. So what are these training programs? Can you be specific? Can you give some, information on those?
Yeah. Before I do that, I just want to, profile the members of our group. So fundamentally, if you look at the group, we have got close to 600 members, as Vishnu said. Now, most of them, a large majority of them are young entrepreneurs who or even student entrepreneurs who who are in the initial the cusp of the journey, so to say, on the entrepreneurial journey. So, and we also have few experienced entrepreneurs, many of us who are sitting here, and in between we have got some profiles. So fundamentally, we need to look at the members' profiles and tailor our programs accordingly. So that is what we have been doing so far in terms of, what is required initially is in terms of reviews, hand-holding, mentoring, things like that for the younger entrepreneurs. So in fact, I have personally done, all of us have done, reviews of their pitch decks, a review of their, business plans and stuff like that. So that is one part in terms of making the, necessary, updates and getting them up to speed on their pitch deck, because that is a very important, artifact as far as, getting funding and moving to the next phase is concerned. So that is a key area for us. The other area would be in terms of, getting them ready or curating them for various incubators, accelerators, etc. So that is a very important aspect, because in Kerala ecosystem, one of the problems, at least what I have seen, is in terms of lack of all these players. If you go to Bangalore or any other major, global center of, startups, entrepreneurship and all that, you will see the whole ecosystem being there.
Okay, Advocate Bindu, we lost you in between, but I'm very happy that you're back. I think you can just unmute. Advocate Bindu, the panelists were talking about, various subjects related to the activities done, the roadmap. What I want to understand is, if a startup is going to, he has got an idea, he or she, they have an idea and they want to start. So normally people just, they just move on without thinking too much on the legal side of it, agreement side of it, patent side of it, trademark side of it. So can you just enlighten, the importance of these things?
Actually, what you said is right. Startups or entrepreneurs, especially young entrepreneurs, have two things in common. One is they have ideas. They have wonderful ideas. And second thing is they have enthusiasm. Sometimes it is blind enthusiasm. They jump into the ideas and start working their ideas. Once it progresses, maybe they may make some profit or something. But after some time, they will start receiving fines, notices, and that enthusiasm part just drains away. They don't have the energy to get up and start again. Actually, that is not needed. They should understand that there are another set of ring against around their ideas. That is the compliances part, in which they should have the base. But actually, KSM is actually trying to do a lot in promoting that, and in KSN, our group also, all these vendors are keeping trying. But I think some people, they need to get hit to learn. That part is also there. So with regard to agreements, every contract or every project they enter into should be covered and protected by an agreement. One thing, because if there is no agreement, after their work is completed, they may not get the payment. Their payments will get stuck, because basically everything, business runs on money. So that payment will get stuck. Then they start what to do, where to go, whom to contact, all these things, kind of things. Then coming to IPR. First, it starts from actually what kind of an organization they need to have. There are various kinds of organizations. They can be self-starters, they can have a partnership firm, they can have LLPs, they can have companies, private limited companies. But it varies from person to person or business to business or ideas to select what is good. Everything has got its own goods, everything has got its own bad. All these things are there. So it needs to be analyzed on a case basis and decided what kind of an organization these people need to be. That depends on their partners, their experience in the field, the money they want to invest, what kind of an investor they are looking for, all these things. Then coming to their intellectual property rights. Actually, people don't think when they start that they will be successful. That is a basic thing. They have wonderful ideas, but they don't believe. When they say, they will say, okay, I'm going places, but in their heart of their heart, they don't think that they will be successful. They will be in the mindset that, let me try. I will see it. So they will not invest their money to protect their trademark or patents or copyrights. What happens is overnight they are clicked. They are a success. Then they go to check whether the trademark is available or not. It won't be. Many a time it won't be. Other similar trademarks are already there, or it is with other giants. All these things happen. Then they have to reprint. That means whatever effort they have taken so far has gone. The money they have put into the market, it is gone. So all these things happen. So it is like there are many stories I can say about these IPR issues and patent issues. So going ahead with the panel, we will discuss on that. These are the things which actually I think the startups do lack. They need to take care of all these things, and it is very, very important to sustain actually. Sustain and grow, I would say, but to sustain actually. If they have a registered trademark or patent, that itself will fetch the money. Even if the business, it is said, even the business fail, the entrepreneur should not fail. The entrepreneur should always come out a winner from a business, whether the business fails or not. So even if the business fails, if that person has got an IPR registered, then he will be a winner, because he can sell out his trademark and come out successful. I have an example of a trademark in which the business was in 16 crore loss, but the trademark was bought by a very famous company. I'm not mentioning the name, for 26 crores. Only the name.
Name and goodwill.
Everything was paid off, and they could start afresh.
Yeah, 10 crores is a good amount of money.
Yes.
In current situation. Manoj, KSN Global, do they help startups to get funding, or do you arrange some kind of investor meet regularly?
Yeah, actually, what we are, it is not about, it's not like, getting funding or, linking. What we are doing is by actually supporting the getting prepared for funding is the fundamental thing. See, people think, when you say funding, okay, I start a startup, okay, tomorrow I just need to go. But what we have seen, like, just now, fortunately, Bindu was saying quite a few things, These are things which is, most of the startups are completely ignorant. And people think preparing a presentation is the thing to the funding, to the gateway to funding. It is not. And what goes into a pitch deck, what are the essential things to all those things? This is where actually KSN, many of the, many senior entrepreneurs or, successful and partially successful already who have failed, they all come and share that knowledge about that. There have been sessions by, we conduct sessions, online sessions. Sunil has, conducted session on how, a business, something like how do you prepare the entire your concept in a typical as a canvas? How do you present that? Sunil has done session. Bindu has done session on educating on what is the importance of IPs. Okay, what are the types of IPs? What all things to be taken care. Same way, there are people who are doing company formation. See, registering an entity itself. What are the pros and cons? So, okay, what is an LLP? Whether you should go for an LLP, whether you should go for a private limited, and what are the advantages and disadvantages? This itself is a, see, otherwise what happens is we jump and go to a place where, a company secretary, okay, they will say that, okay, a private limited company, you go. But then there are a lot of compliances you need to take care when you're a private limited company. If you're LLP, it is like whether you need to go initially as a private, that is something which those kind of things are where, our community comes into helping this startups, I think that way a lot of startups get benefited. So specifically, see, funding is the, always it is something which is all, people keep talking about. Okay, many of the people come to this thing itself, the entrepreneurship nowadays itself first focus is funding, getting the funding. So it is not about, so continually it is a real, it's a process to keep highlighting that it is not about valuation, it is about the value you can give it to your customers. It's a continuous process and it never ends, because the media always highlights about the valuation part, how somebody got funding. This is what actually attracts many people nowadays to jump into a startup bandwagon or the entrepreneur. It is not okay. We cannot call everybody an entrepreneur, because many of them say, come with. There are people who are saying, I want to start a startup. I want to set up a startup. Then, do you have any idea? This is something which we have. See, it's not about that. So we help. People have idea, concepts. They want to take it to the next level. So that is where this community helps. By arranging such sessions. That is what we are doing actually, and that is what we propose to do. And fortunately, we are getting great support from people like Startup Mission and many other incubators. All those things, like Sunil is working with them, and that is where we are trying to help. It is not about arranging the funds. That we will come to it in our vision. We hope to reach there where KSN Global is going to be known as an incubator or an angel investor. All that thing is where we want to reach.
Good. Excellent. Manoj.
Also, Surendra, also to add on what Manoj said, right? So, like we have been interacting, you might be talking to a lot of investors and community and so on. So, if there is something we are talking about, there is a winter, financial winter happening from a startup ecosystem perspective. But honestly speaking, for our ecosystem founders and startups, it's zero impact, because I've been talking to a lot many investors in Bangalore, also in Delhi and stuff on, institutional investors, right? So, for pre-seed, seed, angel, sufficient amount of fund is there. So, there is no dearth of a non-availability of fund, right? Availability of fund is there. Also, from an ecosystem perspective, Kerala, if you look at, the entire, whether it is Kerala Startup Mission, they have got a lot of grants available. All, so support in terms of grants specifically for women entrepreneurship, whether it is in KSM or TAI, they have, or even IMK Live, they have, programs specifically for women entrepreneurship. So ecosystem wise, for enabling, there are a lot of support systems. The only thing is, how do we handhold them? That's the critical part, right? Because, because it's a young mind, they get carried away with the flow. So, we the seniors or the people in this particular ecosystem try to handhold the young startup to tell them what is right and wrong and guide them to make sure that, what would help them to achieve their objectives. That is the key of the KSN Global. And that's a strength probably that I would say, right? Funds are available. There are sources available. We try to bring in, connect each other, but we ensure that, are we taking them to the right path? Right? Okay. That would be our goal.
In connection to this, now you say funding is available, handholding is available, expertise is available, everything is available. A question is, in general, when you look at startups, 85 to 90% of startups fail. This is a general statistics which we have found, and Manoj, clearly said. We can see one of the thing is people jump into startups without being an entrepreneur, without having a passion of an entrepreneur, just looking at the money part of it. So maybe one of the reasons could be that. So my question to KSN Global is, 90% or 85% of the startups fail, but not 85% or the 90% of the entrepreneurs fail. As Advocate Bindu was mentioning, businesses fail, but businessmen or entrepreneur, founder, they should not fail. So my question is, if 85-90% startups fail, I am sure more than 50% of them, entrepreneurs or founders, would still have the passion to come back for a second innings and to establish themselves again. So can you think about a forum or a platform wherein you can bring in failed, I will not say failed, who have done their first innings and who want to come to a platform where they can meet similar people from different verticals and regroup, so that everybody has got vision, passion, energy, they have failed due to XYZ factors not linked to them. Do you think that makes sense for a institution like KSN Global?
Absolutely. I'll tell you, Surinder, you have, hit the nail on the head. We did a program where, I will not call them failures, but unsuccessful founders, right? Sharing their experiences in one of our forums, on one of the programs, right? Now, I'll tell you the challenge there, and that's something pretty hard from a founder's perspective. In Kerala, right, specifically that comes from our, tradition, culture that we are in, a founder who has failed for a small, particular idea, he's been labeled as a failure very strongly within the society, right? And that's a pretty negative element from an entrepreneurship perspective. The morale of the founder is completely thrown, out of the window, right? So even if I would have failed, I would never come out and project myself that, I have failed and I want to share it. So what we did was, we've been talking to a couple of people who are friends and well-wishers. We said, you just come out and share your experiences. So we did that program where we brought in, founders who had multiple iterations. They started one, they didn't succeed, or they pivoted, to be in a more, beautiful word in startup world is pivoting, right? We pivoted, started something new, pivoted, started something new, third idea, working on. So we do that. Also, we try to bring in the business personalities, right, who have been in this industry for a long period and share their journey in terms of an experience, right? So they would have gone through ups and downs, right, over this period of their entire life journey, building a large enterprise. We do that as well because the young people should know that, entrepreneurship is not an easy cakewalk, right? There is challenges. Every step they take is filled with challenges. And one aspect of us, the seniors, is to tell them, right? When you take up a step, you need to be very cautious, but then you be courageous to take that step. And we have been doing that. And I think, in our entire program, there are, ideas of such kind. So if you look at it, we do, industry specific, like fintech, edtech, deep tech. That's how, you can be focused on particular vertical of startups working on those particular area. So, the idea is if you can do some sort of a 2-day program on certain industry specific and bring those type of experts who have challenged, faced challenges and then overcome it, right? To share those with our, young startup founders. That's part of our agenda. And we have done it as well.
Good. Vishnu, I have a specific question to you. It is not linked directly to KSN Global, but mainly on the domain in which you are there, not on the AR/VR, in general on the IT domain. Because when we talk about Kerala, because we are talking about KSN Global Kerala, entrepreneurs from Kerala, what I presume or I believe is we have to utilize this particular era wherein AI, AR, VR, IoT, blockchain is developing or Web3 is coming in. And Kerala is a place wherein availability of soft skills is there, and people are open to ideas, people are open to learning new skills and things. So what do you think if coding can be educated from a very early age to the students all over Kerala? For example, saying in Malayalam, Oro Veetlum Oro Coder. If you say that, every house having one coder. Do you think in the long term, medium term, it will really help the IT related ecosystem, startup ecosystem in Kerala?
Absolutely. I think nobody has a biased opinion here because it's not only specifically to coding, because one thing is coding has become an integral part of everybody's life today, right? It's not like I can be an hardware engineer. There is nothing called hardware today. It's almost integrated. Everything is connected. Everything is today. If we are talking this has been running 1 million lines of code already. Right, maybe an hour of discussion needs 1 million lines of code. So, say for example, to be specific to Kerala, and Kerala, having I think in our team, 80% of the people who do the wonderful development are from Kerala. Right, like, but when we started, like, we were very peculiar of picking people from Kerala, like, to be honest. But I told, like, when we started working with, like, very youngsters, like, I think, like, very freshers come with, like, a lot of, not talent, a lot of passion and a lot of learning abilities. I think that learning ability, if I had to learn coding, I need to be taught from the childhood that, like, this is how coding looks like. This is a basic footsteps, no? So that, I think, like, that has to be brought in, like, maybe, like, at least not very childhood, like, maybe like LKG, KG is not that, but at least, like, we'll have to give them the footsteps to move towards coding. And coding should be an integral part of education system, and it will, at least for the next 20-30 years, like, it is going to be a very very pivotal role, like, it is going to play like, we all know, right, like, India is the largest IT economy, and, like, Kerala, yes, like, it has a huge, like, maybe $1 trillion economy only towards IT, and, like, I think one of India's brightest IT minds are from Kerala. So, like, bringing all together and giving that to the basic baby steps to the children, I think, like, we can bring out more of economical value to Kerala and to the nation as a whole.
So, a follow up to anybody in the panel, as Vishnu said, if that is the right step, what is the idea or agenda of KSN Global to take it forward? Anybody from the panel can join in. It's open.
Let me just add one more point. If you look at the success rate of startups coming out of Kerala, I feel that it is a combination of hardware and software, because you would have seen that you have got a number of let's say solar boats or robotic startups, underwater UAVs and stuff like that. So it is not purely software; it is even design skills. For example, we very badly lack design skills, product design, product development. Even in terms of positioning your product, in terms of integration, because you have got hardware, software, deployment, all those things. So it's more complicated, complex these days. They're complicated, but it's more complex. You have got subsystems, you have to integrate them. In fact, if you look at, recently I was looking at Haridas, this defense, problem statements. So they are looking at very, advanced use cases and problem statements, which are, given to the startups, including those in Kerala. So, so we have to up our game, whether it is coding also. It has to be more, value. We have to go up the value chain. We have to have more design skills. We need to have better, product management skills. Even it goes without saying that we need to have better business development skills. So, so coding is one of those things which can determine your success. There are many things which need to be.
Also to add, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Also to add to what Sunil and Vishnu are saying, I want to add a cultural and social perspective, especially in Kerala and India. If coding is the thing, someone has got enough or higher salary in coding, then all parents are behind teaching children coding. It will be like engineers, doctors. At least we have come out of that to something else. Nowadays, it is IAS. Because some of our Kerala children got IAS, people are behind IAS training. So every people or every children are not basic coders, or they are not interested in computer, or there are other fields which they want. I think from 5th standard to 10th standard, they need to have basics of everything and to find out what exactly they want. Maybe that person is interested in marketing. Let him do marketing. Some person is good in designing, not computer designing, something else. Let that person do it. But everything should be there, because if they are stuck, they need to know where to tap or where to look into for a solution. Many people in the ecosystem, because I am a lawyer, I can say this, I daily interact with startups. They don't know that there are such legal complications or accounting complications exist. If only they know there are some complications exist, then only I can go go and check what is the solution. Same like coding. If I don't coding and I need to know that there is such issue in coding can solve my problem, I can find a good person who knows coding. It is not that I should be proficient in coding. So if we say if coding should be compulsory in schools like computer education, of course computer education is compulsory. Just like the coding is compulsory, our parents will be behind building every child a new coder. And that is not going to happen in Kerala. That's the social impact. Okay, that person next door is a networker or he's a programmer, then my child also should be. This is the cliche thing we have.
Also to add, Surinder, because we are talking about Kerala, right? We have got a challenge in terms of Kerala as a state, from a geography perspective, right? We cannot have industries. So I think, now the government itself has realized, we are pretty late in that, but we have realized that on the services side, IT is probably something they should look at very focused, right?
Yes.
Could be, setting up an IoT center of excellence or semiconductor, because semiconductor, if you look at, now I was reading a document when, government of India is doing so much on semiconductor and drone technology, right? Those are the stuff that we can think about building in Kerala, because, you don't need a factory, right? Whether it's in semiconductor, of course, semiconductor you need it, but from a drone technology, IoT. See, one beauty about Keralites is intelligence. We are very smart. We are hardworking. We are committed, right? So, but we are introvert. We are not outspoken. These are some of our, characteristics. So if you put together all that, IT per se could, or services around that could be an ideal stuff for Kerala as a state to build and, strengthen that. And probably KSN could contribute in that is what we feel, right?
Great.
In building
Excellent.
that.
Excellent. Yes, so Anil, Sunil, Manoj, Advocate Bindu, Vishnu, today we had a very good panel discussion. And it was the first one with KSN Global. So to understand KSN Global, the activities of KSN Global, the programs and the roadmap of KSN Global. So I thank each one of you for accepting my invitation and being part of my show. I'm really very happy and proud to host you people. And I'm telling you, this is just the beginning. There will be more shows and we can do various programs so that, people will be benefited.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much, Suren.
Before we conclude now, I would like to thank you for hosting us in your channel. Also, I would like to add that, we work with the entire ecosystem of Kerala, right? So could be Kerala Startup Mission. So we are complementing each other and, helping each other to make sure we stand out as part of a startup ecosystem in country, right? Thank you very much for hosting us. Appreciate it, Surinder.